for a lot of people like DFM as the LGL representatives. And they have had showings where they seem to have punched above their weight class, where they have made it to the main stage of Worlds before. They've taken down some opponents, even in the, like a tiebreaker versus Cloud9. They beat them once. But this year's been a bit of a step back, I feel like, for them. And fans are kind of recalibrating expectations. They went 1-5 at MSI, only beating A's the one time, but also dropping a game against them. And struggling so far. I mean, it's only a single game, but it was really sad to see Evie, who is this, like, you can't dislike him. He's always giving the thumbs up, always smiling, and sometimes smurfing. And to see him go, I think it was like 1-7 in a 24-minute game versus Loud was a little shocking. So I'm hoping that they can bounce back here today.
Yeah, hope so. But obviously a tough opponent here with Fnatic, especially with Hilly back in the lineup. Although perhaps, as you mentioned, maybe that's not true given how Rux looked in his 2 games.
I feel like, so here's what I'll say. Hylissang is one of the craziest players I've ever seen.
So fun to watch.
He's one of the best Western supports ever, absolutely. But he does it his way. And I was, in prepping for this, I saw one of the most unhinged plays I've ever seen in my life, where he already used ult in a team fight as a Lulu, and then flashed forward into 4 more people and died for it. But that is Hylissang. And then he'll make the play where he just 1v9s a game somehow in the support position, which is usually a role that cannot do that. And so in terms of the future for Fnatic going forward, getting him back in this lineup now is huge, because when you start going up against the other world-class teams, you sometimes need that X factor. You need that crazy play that's going to flip the game on its head and allow you to walk away with that win.
Absolutely. We'll catch up on draft real quick. Hecarim, Akali, Caitlyn banned on the Fnatic side. DFM gonna go ahead, ban Draven, Kallisto, Graves. 3 marksmen out of there.
Oh, the analyst desk is right.
Did predict correctly. Aatrox right in there. B1.
Yeah, it's a little sad to see such a staple in the meta continue to be so high prio. I think there was a lot of excitement around the meta. We've seen new things in the bot lane, new things in the jungle, mid lane's popping off, top lane. We're next in Aatrox.
Yay! No, not yay. Trundle, though, one of the responses there, likely for Steel, just blinding it there. And Victor, so nice solid call here for Detonation.
That is a humanoid takeaway. Umanoid was popping off yesterday. Chovy gapped Jojo after Jojo asked him not to do it to him, and putting some respect on that pick. But that does open up the LeBlanc angle. Humanoid, obviously a very skilled player, had probably the highlight of all playoffs around the world. The 1v3 stylist play was absolutely disgusting. You saw like Korean casters reacting to it, went global for sure. And this speaks to the super team prowess of Fnatic, because Upset was also crushing yesterday. Wonder, it was across the board domination.
I feel like this always happens, I don't watch that much. I'll be perfectly honest. I have my own reason to contend with, but every time, an EU mid rocks up to it in enough fun, I'm like, wow, they aren't that good, huh? Yeah. Humanoid definitely been as good as advertised, or if not better, so far in this play-in stage, alongside the Lee in there for his LeBlanc. So a very different angle as far as the mid-jungle goes. A lot more aggressive, as Misfortune has also been pretty popular pick so far at Worlds. Will be taken here for Yutapon, as Pyke going to be banned away by Hylissang, which is one of those necessary evils, to be perfectly honest.
Yes, it is the respect ban that Hylissang instantly brings to the table. I do like DFM here going for this kind of scaling team fight comp. It's pretty telegraphed at this point when you have Victor and MF locked in. You can always maybe pick a split pushing topside if Evie wants to play either his pocket pick Urgot is something that he's well known for. Does he want to bust out of Fiora? It's not exactly a champion of his that you see too often. Hasn't played it yet this year, but maybe he has some counter pick he's ready to go for that will make it a 4-1 comp. But otherwise, I'm just expecting front-to-back team fight for DFM here.
Nodal is the other one, so continuing to target Hilly, and then Sejuani taking some of the potential safer picks out of the top lane. Wonder wanting to bring some volatility, perhaps in the 1v1 or the 2v2, if Ryzork wants to go ahead and pop up there. Last ban, though, is lining up, and it is Yuumi continuing to get attention on the ban table.
Yep, Yuumi Sejuani. They've been banned earlier on. Sejuani has looked like a bit of a menace, probably one of the better frontline options in the meta right now. And instead, we're going to see the cannon locked in for Evie. Already there. Having some range advantage into the Aatrox. Brings some magic damage as well. Gonna make it so a lot of people want to prioritize MR, and then your MF ultimate gets to rip through the entire team.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of this kind of thing. You have to imagine if Aatrox continues to be a popular pick on blue side, which it certainly will be if it's left open. Eventually, we'll either run out of counter picks or we'll find the one that works.
Well, I feel like that's the situation when you see this kind of Aatrox blue side spam. Is it does put a lot of onus on your top laners to play the actual hard counters to try and punish and put some fear in the enemy team if they're gonna do that. Otherwise, if you're just taking these like soft counters, which I would say Kennen definitely fits more into that territory of like you don't really dominate the lane or crush that matchup, then eventually the blue side just becomes so much higher prio in the meta.
Well, we've started to see this again, and Chronicler, you were close! not quite there on where Maokai was going to go. It is the pickup, but it is Healy's Maokai this game.
This is Healy's Maokai. I forget who was talking about. Someone for their pick'em said that Maokai would be the most flex champion. This is now the third role we're seeing him in just 2 days of Worlds.
I put him in my my flex slot for Crystal Ball pick.
Hey, there you go, buddy. You're looking real good.
I believe I stole that from Zale, so thank you.
No, maybe a lot of people did that, because I don't think it was either of you I was thinking of. Maybe it wasn't that big, high level of a pick if everyone was doing it.
Maybe not. Did look good yesterday, though. Really domineering vision control with saplings, especially once you get the cooldown rolling. We saw that be a pretty big thing in the DRX game yesterday when they played up against RNG.
Yeah, obviously Def was incredible. Zeko was popping off as well, but I think Piosik was kind of the unsung hero for that game. Did a really good job of locking down all the melee threats that are pretty prevalent in the meta. This time, not quite as easy. There's not a low-range member of DFM that Hilly is clearly going to be healing for the Kaisa or something like that. Instead, he's going to be working more as a diver, which is another thing that Maokai can do. Go in first with the team, get the root, get the big ultimate. You also have the Aatrox, Lee Sin, LeBlanc, even Kaisa can join in this dive comp that they're kind of building. And they'll need to do that, actually blow up the MF or the Victor early on against DFM, because otherwise DFM has an insane team fight AoE comp.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, again, you talk about Healy and how he's a touch unhinged at times from the support position.
But in the best way.
Absolutely in the best way, and I think Maokai is the kind of champion that you don't necessarily expect the wildest of plays, but if we're going to get wild Maokai support plays, we have found the correct player to demonstrate them.
If there's some weird Maokai mechanic, I don't know, he's the man to exploit it, do some crazy stuff.
Certainly we'll have to see. Last pick for completion was Alistar, going to be paired up there.
Just some more frontline engage for the rest of the team. It's a pretty, like we said, standard team comp for DFM here. You have Trundle as well as the Alistar to go in, either peel or start the engage off, and then between Victor, MF, and Kennen, just so much AoE damage in CC.
Yep, DFM going to have to slow the game down. As you said, they got great team fight, but you have to get there to the mid-game and beyond at a decent spot, whereas I feel like, especially watching Humanoid and Razork pairing up, that and 1-2 actually potentially on the Aatrox. Like, that top side is pretty terrifying from Fnatic if they can get things rolling early game.
And they were the best early game team in the playoffs for LEC. And so the idea of like, oh, well, we need to snowball is like, that's our comfort zone, actually.
Hooray!
Yeah, they're very comfortable with that. We'll have to see if they're able to pull it off. Have I missed the Evie thumbs up this year? Has it just not happened yet?
I mean, he's only played one game and it was an L, so maybe...
Yeah, but he's been on camera a couple times. Is he just... What's going on?
I don't know. Who we got to get in the zones? We are into game 1 here for day 2 of the plays in Worlds 2022. Fnatic are hovering through DFM's river, maybe trying to see if anyone's poking a little too far. But no vision going to be put down just yet, and no one getting caught unawares on the DFM side.
Yeah, no LeBlanc shenanigans, level 1 either. You see sometimes take W, pop some walls, try and get a ward down on it to a red brush. Not going to be the case this time. Playing more defensively, protecting Razork's path instead.
Yeah, it looks like both junglers going to have some help, a little bit of defense there. They'll be starting on the opposite sides of the rift, so we'll see if they do pass each other. As I imagine, there'll be a decent amount of farming to kick things off. But again, eyes on Fnatic for this early game. Razork can change up the path pretty rapidly depending on how things are going.
He was one of the key parts of Fnatic kind of finding their groove in that playoff run. While it did not end as far as obviously Fnatic fans wanted, this is a team that people had championship aspirations for. It was still an improvement from the regular season. And a lot of that was his early game, being able to get onto the map, start snowballing those lanes. They committed to this early game play style, a lot of Lucian picks and things like that for Upset, who absolutely, I think, was probably the best player in that run. He was incredible to watch. So they have started ramping up, and I think there's a question of, does Fnatic really hit their ceiling this year yet? I don't think so. And so as a third seed from Europe, they could secretly be very, very good.
Oh yeah, definitely a threatening team. Upset certainly looking good early on in the tournament. We'll look to continue that form here. Also like that Razork is moving up towards the top side because he knows that Evie wants to get aggressive in the 1v1 if you can, at least in the early levels. You have to abuse your counter pick here when you can, because we know what happens when Aatrox gets going. It's an absolute menace in the lane.
Yep, Kennen with the range advantage can get this kind of chunk down exactly like this. You get this poke off, and if Wunder is not able to land the Q1 tippers, then you're pretty much safe to harass him as much as you want. As soon as Wunder missed the Q2 especially, you saw Evie charge forward there and get some chunk down onto him. Like you said, that's why it makes it a good lane for Lee Sin to try and find these ganks, get up there, make that happen. It's the flip side for DFM, trying to get the Trundle down to the bot lane, make sure this bot side does not go poorly, get some wards out, just leave the Kennen defend for himself on the weak side. I think you identified it correctly in saying that this is a scaling game plan for DFM. The Trundle is just here to neutralize, and the fact that they spot him out is...
Hey, look! Hillsong's going in, but maybe it's a little too far. Udapon maybe looking for the kill, needs one more auto. Great pillar, and that is first blood for Detonation Focus Me.
I mean, the pillar came in, but at that point, I think he was already dead. The second double up was coming through for Udapon. They were going to grab that kill no matter what. Hillsong lands in Mexico City. First play that he makes, it's the oopsie.
Already one more death than Rox had in the 2 games he played.
Oh no, it's a disaster, bring him back! No, I mean, obviously, oh, hold on. Razor coming down here.
Here's an angle. Udapon just straight up tanking it there, knowing that Harper's the target there as the R-Star with no flash.
Would have been dangerous for Razor to go in there anyways.
Yes.
Lee Sin is notoriously difficult to get the second Q off. You go flying in there before you connect. Pulverize comes down, knocks you up in the air. So we're taking a look at that. Looks like Hillsong just W'd on top, just walked on top of him, Q slowed, headbutt back.
Oh.
Ooh, nice kind of pull by Harp with the flash to get him forward. Then here, already was going to die, just steal thrown to make sure that kill was guaranteed. But would have been a 2v2 kill even without the jungler there. So I know I was about to start memeing about the free Rux. You know, it's a big joke now that he had such a good first 2 games that people are going to start the debate, the roster debate. But no, definitely Hillsong will find his footing. I have plenty of faith in him.
Oh, absolutely. You know, a small oopsie starting off a game. It's all good, but good news there for Detonation Focus Me, who again are looking to improve from their opening day. As Evie continues to harass Wunder, looking pretty good. A wave up right now, but Wunder not really sweating it, you have to imagine.
I will say, for DFM, though, this is an ideal start. You don't expect to randomly get a 2v2 kills. We see trying to defend the pink ward here.
Ill-advised? Not too bad, but not going to be able to defend it for too much longer. Steel, though, making his way into this brush, trying to set up for a regank here.
Can get to the middle one without being spotted. We'll see if DFM know that there's a ward there. Looks like he's just going for a coverage play as DFM trying to escort this wave in. Do not want to get ganked. Doesn't seem like we know where Razork is. He's actually up on the top side. Might show on a ward soon as he grabs that Scuttle Crab. DFM just playing safe there.
Great vision here, though, on the left side for Fnatic. So Yaharong perhaps in a spot of ball. They can't step too far forward. Humanoid can get there with a chain! Dashes in, flash chain! Q lands and the damage is good, but Yaharong going to put down the gravity field and walk out of there.
Yeah, able to get out of there. At some point, Yaharong must have lost his flash off screen.
That's what I realized.
I saw a Humanoid flash and I was like, that's aggressive. Isn't that just flash as?
Humanoid looking for the solo. Steel's here again. Humanoid going to get away with it. And now Steel just wants to get aggressive, maybe trying to push the wave in here, but Yaharong does not have a lot of health. Razork getting the Q, finds a minion to go ahead and dash to, but Yaharong should be fine here and will.
Loving the way Humanoid's playing this, though. When you have the LeBlanc Lee Sin combo, you need to play a little aggro. You cannot just sit there and trade farm versus the Victor Trundle, feel good about it. You have to take these aggressive flash forwards. Whoa, solo kill on the top side.
That's where the thumbs up.
We'll probably get a look at that in a second, I hope.
Have to imagine so. If he just hit 6... Yeah, he's just got ulti now, so it wasn't that. I guess we'll find out. But back we go for Wunder. They're going to TP back to top lane.
Yeah, flash down for Evie, flash for Wunder as well. We'll hopefully get a replay of exactly what happened there. So not the ideal start. 500 gold down for Fnatic. The Copium angle is you have some CS leads. Mid lane going very well for them. Up about 12 right now. We'll see what happens after Victor catches this wave. You have your bot lane advantage despite the kill going over to Udapon to make the gold roughly even. Here we go. Let's see this. Wunder trying to get the wave in, taking a lot of chunks. Gonna get stunned up right there. And I assume Evie still has his E. Yeah, there it is. Just charges forward through that flash for flash. Ooh, it was actually a little closer than I thought it was going to be, but just enough harass there. Wunder miscalculated a little bit. That's one of those ones where with 20 extra health, you might get back onto your turret and be safe, but going to give that solo bolo over.
Yep, everyone will take it, certainly. Gold in the right place there for DFM, who, to your point, still have a gold lead, but Uno continuing to build very impressive CS leads. It'll be very fun to watch his stats and kind of snapshot his CSD at 14 at the end of this play-in, because so far he's absolutely gapping people. Yaharong no exception right now. Double chains land. Hilly's here, but the defense is good for DFM. Steel going to be moved back. Hawk goes in. Hillsong in trouble. Aftershock wears off, but he gets out safely, Wing to a minion.
Yeah, thank God that minion was there for him to W2, get that little taxi ride to safety, because otherwise with no flash, looks like a chase down. But with this pressure from mid lane, DFM start grouping up around this Ocean Dragon. Might want to start stacking that one down as Wunder.
Big chain. Ulti here for Evie if he needs it, but Wunder not popping his just yet. Evie going to walk away.
Yeah, Wunder could have gone ult for ult there.
Oh, we're going again. They're just diving it. The Q lands. Yaharong in trouble. He's deflected so many ganks, but he cannot kick out Hillsong this time.
As things are going wrong on the side lanes, Humanoid is stepping up in mid, just drawing pressure to him over and over again, trading flashes out, keeping this up, making DFM react to him. Humanoid putting the team on his back right now.
Yeah, again, after that now, CS lead's going to really balloon. 20 up now, and Steel's going to have to catch this wave. Try and leave some if he can, but again, LeBlanc pretty scary, still has ulti. Humanoid going to go back in, get a big chunk of damage down to Electrocute procs, but Humanoid going to walk away, and Steel will successfully pull this wave.
I swear to God, his LeBlanc does more damage than...
Yeah, it's not okay.
I don't know where all this extra damage is coming from. Obviously, that's a huge kill on them. Yaharong has been doing very well in Champions Queue, number one rated player right now. And I think that made a lot of people excited as well for DFM, not just the history of this team, but also seeming to do well in some of the solo queue environments. But much like Scrim Bucks, Champion Queue Bucks are not worth as much as you'd think. A little bit of Monopoly money there, and Humanoid showing he's got the class to put Yaharong on the back foot.
Reflected in the gold, as you can see, it's Yutapon up top thanks to the early kill, but Humanoid right behind with the assist and the CS that he's picked up here. So Detonation Focus Me still roaming around.
Look at this, a three-man roam to Yaharong to be like, can you get the wave in? Are you okay? Is Humanoid gonna pop out of a brush somewhere? You can see how much pressure that Humanoid is forcing DFM to kind of react to and make sure that they are protecting him.
Oh, actually, hold that thought. Razok with a face check, gets the Dragon's kick there onto Yutapon, flashing in. Q is good, last auto is there, and Yutapon finds kill number 2.
Yeah, a little bit of a greedy play there by Razork. You knew that they were in that area with DFM, going to be rotating back down bot lane, so I think Razork was just hoping that they would have fully gone down, but there was a ward that spotted Razork coming, and so instead they just camped that brush, find that kill.
Chain lands again, Humanoid. Ulti burnt there to connect that one. Versus getting some harassed down as Yaharong's trying to stay afloat here. Good news though, with Razok being down the bottom side and dying, Steel had free time on the Herald, which he has now picked up.
Yep, so even though Humanoid has pressure in the mid lane, Evie has pressure in the top side, no jungle to contest, easily taken there for Steel. And that's a pretty big takeaway for DFM to not only be getting all these kills, your bot lane accelerated in the game. Now with this, you can find a lane to funnel that kind of plate gold into, most likely bot lane, but they might try and go topside and just put this matchup even further in Evie's favor.
Yeah, Razok, of course, knows the Herald is down, so going to go ahead and take the crab while it spawns. Trying to poke up here on Evie and see if you can maybe get some pressure off. Wunder ready with the World Ender, no flash for a little bit, but Evie playing respectfully, even though the wave not in an ideal spot. Going to have to give it up here with the pressure incoming from the enemy jungler as Harp trying something here in mid lane. Humanoid, flash, and ulti about to come back up. This is going to be a toughie.
Yeah, we'll see if they can find this angle. There's not really much of a chance to really kill LeBlanc here, but they're going to go for it.
That is a very nice attempt, but Humanoid real quick distorts out of the way.
Yeah, not going to work out there. Looking for it, not the case, but even just to relieve pressure, buy space for Yaharong to continue farming. If you can just stop Humanoid from doing what he did for the first 5-6 minutes of the game, that is still kind of worth the effort because Yutapon is absolutely fine being on this weak side. There's not too much dive threat from the Maokai and Kai'Sa until you're underneath your turret and they have you pinned up against the wall, but as you can see, Harp has plenty of time to make it back down there.
Yep, and Yutapon has, despite the 2 kills, left lane a little bit. We saw that, 4-man group in the mid lane. They've made sure things have happened. His top side is still up here. Wunder in trouble. Flash is there. Pillar is beautiful. And Trundle's going to go ahead and slay the Aatrox as Razok here. Lining up a kick, perhaps? No, just barely. Misses everybody, gets him out of the way. The tower dive is there, but it is ill-advised. Razok just feeds gold over to Detonation Focus Me's top laner.
Oh my God, Fnatic are the ones looking for so many of these aggressive plays, but they're just coming apart at the seams. Wunder did not know that Steel had snuck his way into that top brush. He had the reinforcements coming, thinking that I'm going to be baiting Evie in. I don't think that he knew that Steel was there. I could be wrong, but otherwise it just seemed like he was way far ahead of the play. And then Razork, I saw the angle he did. You kick the Trundle through the Kennen, you get that kind of damage, you look like a god, you go flying under the turret. Didn't work. So yeah, here I just don't think he has any idea he's in this brush. He's just baiting a fight as Lee Sin was on the collapse, but gets popped before that one can happen. Here's Razork. There was an insane, director's cut highlight clip of his kick in mid lane yesterday. Tried to go for that one. Didn't work this time around. And then goes under the turret, but Kennen was still healthy enough without that knockup damage that it was not really a threat. There's the thumbs up. There it is, buddy. Let's go.
Double thumbs up.
Double thumbs up for a double kill, buddy.
The rare alternate emote, but Evie finding the 2. Feeling good now. A little bit of bounty gold he's worth, but swimming in money now as he moves back towards the top side. And Detonation Focus Me, almost 1,000 gold in the lead, is still a pretty slim margin as far as the game is concerned, but things going in the right direction for the team that just wants to scale.
Yeah, able to get some turret plates onto the Victor as well, so he's not too far behind the LeBlanc anymore. The fact that we talk about the scaling advantage that they have, 1,000 gold up, you know, slowing the pace of this game down, they've done an incredible job so far, and it's really nice to see this rebound out of DFM. They have been to every international tournament since Worlds 2018, except 2020 Worlds. They are LJL to the minds of most international viewers, and they had been able to make a lot of upsets happen over the years, and it was just disappointing to see yesterday, but they are clearly bouncing back hard today.
Big Hex Flash, Aftershock wears off. Hilly does flash out of the way, pops the ulti defensively as well, but Unipon is here, ready to let it rip. Doesn't even need the bullet time. It's Steel with a kill.
Another misstep by Fnatic there, going up, trying to make a move in the river, but getting caught out. And Unipon showing the restraint, being like, I don't need to bullet time this. Just autos him down. The power of MF with those buffs coming in. Wonder doing what he can, making the rotation down from top to mid, grabs that turret. I wonder if they're going to stay in these swapped up lanes.
Ooh, Evie in trouble 1v1. Oh, it's Humanoid, that's why! Can't win this 1v1. Evie's out of there. Humanoid trying to chase it down. Doesn't have much left in the tank. The last Q's not enough, and Evie will get away.
Yeah, Evie getting out safely. A little surprised to see the swap of... Oh, hold on. Wonder made the move up.
It's not a swap. It's just a very extended roam, but Evie with a very quick stuns, maybe going to get out of it.
He's outie.
Q's going to land. He's fine, though. Evie sneaks out. Pops the penguin.
Someone's a big fan of Evie in the crowd. I heard that one. He was able to survive, got Humanoid's flash out for that move as well. Not able to get the kill. The ult defensively stops the aggression from Humanoid. Wonder makes the roam, abandoning mid lane, giving more time for Yaharong to grab plates. Evie TPing back in. Ult almost back up for Humanoid, but not going to stick around for it. They have topside control of the map. During that time, it looks like DFM is working down on the Dragon, but Wonder will take away the red buff instead.
Yeah, there's been a lot of action in this game, and the reason I know that, Mark, is because that Ocean Dragon is the first one that might be taken in this game. We're actually just past 14 minutes.
I mean, with these solo lane matchups, you can understand the focus being a little bit more on the top side of the map, but for DFM here, the slow Dragon stacking is absolutely fine. The fact that you don't have to worry about Fnatic running away with Dragons on the bot side of the map or anything like that means that there's no onus to push the pace of the game. If you ever find yourself in a Dragon situation that doesn't look good for you, you can stack it going forward.
Yep, Unipon also trying to get the first turret gold here. The Rift Herald was used down there, as we saw just before this last sequence of play. Unipon still working on the turret, should be able to get it here and collect the bonus money. Did get a good amount of the plates off it as well, thanks to the Herald that's dropped. So gold moving in the right direction still for Detonation Focus Me, as Evie is contending in the 2v1.
Yeah, Fnatic had flopped their bot side up to the top lane to try and buy this turret with the overload. Evie doing what he can to hold on to it, but it's getting a little dicey.
Yeah, gets kicked, has ulti, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Humanoid going to get stunned up, and now he has to get out of there, but the damage is done. Humanoid gets that gold.
Bit of an overforce by Evie there, was feeling himself. I was about to compliment him for doing so well on the weak side, playing defensive while his team grabs turrets, bot, and mid. Did get a little greedy right at the end, which is, you know, he stopped the recall. He knew he kept it 2v1. Just thought that with his ultimate that he could maybe defend the turret. Not able to quite do it. Overestimated his damage, but with the 2 kills that he already has and his farm, he's not too far behind the pace of the game. He has been shut down a little bit in CS with all the overloads that, you know, Fnatic has kept sending up to the top side of the map here. But ultimately, Kennen can play decently from mid or behind when you have this much damage in the rest of your comp. Sometimes Kennen needs to be a damage threat. In this situation, if you're just ulting the short-range members of Fnatic when they go flying in, you'll be doing your job just fine.
Might have a Herald fight here as well. Was started by Detonation Focus Me, but Fnatic move in to defend it. Humanoid level 11 gets kicked up by Hop. Ulti out of Gilly trying to make a setup here. The chain is good. The long con there on the engage. The Hop still not going to pop the ulti. Humanoid maybe going to make him pay. Pops at last minute. Just barely lives to tell the tale.
A little bit dicey there by Hart playing it to the limit. But at the end of the day, DFM was very comfortable giving that Dragon, or excuse me, Rift Herald away. This is kind of what we're talking about, where when you've able to have such a good early game when you're supposed to be on the back foot that you have a lead, you can be very choosy with your fights. If you're down 2k gold, 3k gold, and the enemy team's getting a Rift Herald, it's like, oh, if we give that one up, then it's going to be a 4k gold lead, 5k gold lead. Here, you're just like, well, we're not group for it, whatever. We can give that one over, and Fnatic still have enough turrets that they'll have an easy time dropping this probably in bot or mid lane when the next Dragon spawns. We'll see. My concern is that there's a very likely possibility that DFM just goes full, like, start sacking things mode and just full on scale, but I don't actually want them to do that. They've done such a good job so far answering Fnatic's aggression move for move, either that be, you know, moving your pressure around the map or actually just killing them and catching them in rotation. I hope they keep doing that and don't just start giving up these objectives just because there's no pressure from them.
Yeah, you don't want to see damage control without the control.
I want the damage control with damage.
There we go.
That's the way.
Perfect. Evie, good damage there on the Humanoid, speaking of, but still a very big threat. The trend, by the way, has been when Humanoid goes to the lane, the CS gap grows massively, which Yaharong thankfully has caught up a little bit, actually caught up fully after Humanoid left him alone, but Evie's had to bear that pain. As Humanoid is very powerful still. Also, even though Udapon did get those early kills, Upset actually doing really well. Had a pretty consistent CS lead throughout the lane. I think mostly because Udapon was roaming with his team a little bit more. But it is Kai'Sa very much set up for Fnatic.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about Upset very much yet, but yesterday he was an absolute monster. And we saw, even in the, as we see Yaharong in a bit of trouble here, very slow moving Maokai ultimate, not able to actually lock him down, but does buy space for Wunder to work down this turret. We'll see if DFM want to start this fight. Steel's moving down from River.
Oh, such good poke there onto Harp. Again, just anytime you can maybe bait an alley ulti out early, doesn't cost you very much as LeBlanc to just poke away, as Fnatic were trying to siege that turret. Haven't got it yet, but still staying active.
Yeah, but it is forcing DFM to take the long way around in their own jungle, which allows Upset, who had the push on mid, to probably grab this one.
Kick. Steel in trouble. Ulti's away. Still gonna die. Pretty tanky. Not enough as the shutdown comes in for Razok. But then they should focus me now around the other side. Kai'Sa gets obliterated. Upset just dissolves into thin air as Detonation Focus Me find the counter kill.
Just gonna be 1-for-1 though. A little slow on killing Steel. Bought time for Evie to find that angle. Evie's not done. He's hungry.
Wants this kill. I can't blame him. Evie fan in the crowd still popping off, but Evie just gonna find the clone as Hillerson caught by Harp. Udapon there just barely out of range for the Make It Rain slow, and Hilly's gonna be fine.
Yeah, not actually able to find that counter kill. Was a little dicey for Fnatic with how long it took to finish off Steel. It did mean that the turret actually stayed up, so Steel giving his life to keep a little bit of control in the mid lane. You kill Upset back. I was just about to start singing Upset's praises. I don't know if I got far enough into it to count it as a caster curse.
I don't think so. I think you're clean. As Wunder here into Evie, gonna get out of there, has to flash out to safety.
Does that guy have a mic himself? I wonder if it's as loud as for the stream as it is for us in our ears. Maybe we just sound crazy.
I hope not. I don't think so. Pretty sure we're all getting the same audio. There's a Rift Herald drop there in mid lane by Razok. Steel here to meet it alongside Udapon. Has ulti if he wants to hit the wave, but doesn't need to here for MF. And this Rift Herald's not gonna make it by the looks of things. Oh, nope.
No, not the case. They dropped that one as they kind of set up for this Cloud Dragon. So I was wondering is if DFM were going to contest it. Looks like they're considering. Yaharong does have TP to join in, as does Wunder, and they're walking up behind Steel here.
Evie no ult, but it's gonna be off probably by the time the fight is here. They've got all the tools. The TP's in from both. And there's the ulti out of Hillerson. Did it from going in. Razok gets the Dragon. Bullet time out, but doesn't quite get enough damage done. Channel time not complete as the kick, I believe, was the reason. Razok putting that to bed as Detonation Focus Me want to find the fight after the objective, but
no turret. Long chase down sequence available for DFM if they want it. Evie has his ult and Hex Protobelt up, I believe.
Yeah, should be ready to go here. No flash, so can't clear that wall. Just trying to slow them down. Steel maybe looking for the pillar. Finds out the Humanoid, but that's not an easy target to pin down. And DFM just going to give it up there, so Fnatic getting away with that Drake.
Yeah, they're able to get away with it, get their Dragon stacking going a little bit here. I can see the restraint from Evie with no... Hold on, Harp finding this angle.
Ooh, okay, onto Wunder is the intended target there, but it's a 2v4 kind of Upset. Going to find the way over. Expressway from the Kai'Sa ulti. He's going to push him in and make it 2 for Fnatic. Evie goes down. Yaharong now the target. Does have flash, should be fine, but Razok chasing here, hops over the wall. The turret's low as well, but still going to try and interrupt it. And now Lee Sin is going to go ahead and meet the enemy jungler. Steel, they're going to get some damage down. The pillar is nice. Yaharong here as well. That's enough damage. Yaharong going to be the one to get the kill.
All right, an oopsie by DFM does find a kill back. They got split when they were trying to cut off the rotation by Fnatic. Not nearly enough damage to finish off Wunder, who I don't know if he had the Hex Drinker prior to this. Didn't seem like Evie did as much damage as he thought he was going to do, and instantly goes, oh, we shouldn't be here. Trying to kite back, but just too split. You can see Udapon and Steel having no way to get involved in this fight, as well as the fact that Udapon having no ultimate meant that probably not the best idea to look for that fight. But the one saving grace is with that turret still up, there's no way for Razor to actually continue chasing, and Steel caught him out there, getting a little greedy.
Yeah, already used the W to get in that position to try and line up the dive. So Steel able to shut that down. Razork scratching his head, maybe thinks, yep, shouldn't have been there, but still 2 for 1. Fnatic will take it. They're up in gold by 600, which isn't too bad. I don't think the lead they wanted, given the draft they had, and it's not like they're completely out of it in mid to late game. Obviously they can still play, but had plenty of aggressive plays. Not all of them were able to work out. Yeah. Fnatic will find themselves in, a slim lead. They'll take it, but it's not as good as it could have been.
Yeah, the angle I was starting to ramp up with Upset was that you kind of have Kai'Sa as a bit of a late game threat as this thing that's been on track. You can see up highest farm in the game right now, done extremely well despite some of the mistakes of Hylissang in the laning phase. He was never actually losing farm for it. And yesterday in the EG game, it was very quickly turned around, but the first 5-10 minutes of that game against Caitlyn Lux, obviously you're going to be down CS, and I think Upset has shown that absolutely fine playing out games like this where, all right, pressure's on me, I need to carry, I'm not insanely ahead of the pace of the game, I am strong, but at 2 items, there are a number of other people on 2 items, Yaharong himself, Yutapon also at 2 items, a lot of those kind of coming through, so Upset will not be in a extremely advantageous position, but we've seen Kai'Sa comps when there are a lot of other threats that people have to deal with. Those are actually some of the best that she's in because there's so much other attention given to the LeBlanc and when Wunder is going in and whatnot that he can kind of pick his time, go in with that ultimate and start assassinating Yutapon, Yaharong, whoever is the target.
Kai'Sa ult, as it turns out, is best used going forward. So when you have other people diving in, I know, amazing, right? You'd think, a little dash and shield, nice defensive ulti. No. Get in there with the rest of the team, a screen away.
Protect the Kai'Sa comps have always looked so much sadder than like, triple threat comp with Kai'Sa. Way more fun to play out for the Kai'Sa, actually. And we'll see here with Humanoid still at 2-0-3. We talked about like some of the things kind of going wrong around him. He himself has been good the entire time and has the Shadow Flame completed. We'll see if he's going to finish Banshee's Veil next, potentially, with the double AP Soul Laners from the side of DFM. You can see them prioritizing some MR.
Kick. Humanoid. Oh, that's such a nice alley-oop. Evie just going to be left for dead. No flash, but I don't think it would have mattered.
This is actually part of the most dangerous part of the game for Fnatic. We talked about lane phase, but also when the turrets start dropping, the map mobility that they have, LeBlanc, Lee Sin, able to hop a lot of walls and find these pickoffs.
Yeah, Detonation Fergus Me going to try and be the first to tower number 3. Holding onto the mid outer is nice, especially when they're maybe looking to contest for that next dragon up in 45. But unfortunately, Evie not in a spot he could be. So much depth, so much ability to find picks at long range between Lee Sin and LeBlanc. And Fnatic soundly punished as a result. Then they should focus me to pick a bit of extra gold up, taking out this tower. Maybe going to get 2 actually. This is worth quite a bit more gold. But Steel is busy tanking the tower. Now they're diving. TP's coming on in. Wunder in trouble. But I'm not sure this is really advice. Hylissang with a beautiful counter ulti is Upset. Finds 1. Now the TP back through. Harp is just dead to Humanoid. And I'm not sure what you're supposed to do now. Evie just in there only to die again. The bullet time's wonderful. And does get one back. Razork back here as well. Fnatic maybe going to find the ace here as Yutapon flashing out to safety, but it's not safe enough. Steel now the only one left alive. And we'll see if he can make it out safely. Fnatic will chase down this kill.
Should be able to finish off Steel here, and with that misstep by DFM in the top side of the map, potentially going to hand over this ace, still trying to chase him down.
Steel pretty bulky, but not bulky enough. There's the ace that Wunder was looking for.
Prime position for Fnatic to find that ace as well. Transitions perfectly to an easy Baron setup. Harp is the first one alive. Yaharong spawning now. Does have teleport available, but with no ultimate, no way to stop this Baron. A dicey early game for Fnatic, finally going their way with that ace on the top side.
Yeah, about 4,000 gold ahead before this Baron. And this Red Bull Baron power play should be pretty monstrous. This DFM just overextending here.
Boy, I can see what they're thinking. Hey, Wunder's alone. We can kill him underneath this turret before the rest of the team gets there. But it feels like they didn't commit. I think maybe you have to go despite that fact or not go. Do one of the two completely. But Wunder's given time to kind of reset through that fight. Do that drain tanking Aatrox. Look at that. He's back up to full health almost in the middle of this team fight. And so while Yutapon does have a nice ultimate, the fact that they didn't just blow everything on killing Wunder right at the very beginning means that they don't have anyone dead at the start. That gives time for the rest of Fnatic to collapse. Razork comes in from the side. You can see the face palm by the coaching staff at DFM, knowing that was a big blunder.
Oh my goodness, Humanoid.
That was a bit of damage.
That damage is not okay. Teamfight damage also, by the way, that's what happens when you don't kill the Aatrox.
Yep. That was who they tried to dive under the turret. Ends up carrying the team fight. Wunder bouncing back after, again, Bit of an oopsie of a lane phase, but this is what makes Fnatic so scary, is they're relentless in their aggression.
And you know what? I wouldn't have minded the Banshees, but a death cap a little bit more in line with how Humanoids go in this game. 10 stacks on the seal as well.
Yeah, he ended up selling that one out. He's like, I don't need this cow. Get this away from me. So it is something where DFM is prioritizing itemization against that as well. You see the early Void Staff coming in for Yaharong, saying, all right, they're going to be stacking some MR. I'm going to need to punch through that. But with the fact that they're now 7,000 gold up, Fnatic are far enough ahead of this game that I don't think you're really worried about any scaling advantage from DFM coming in. Humanoid has the ability to absolutely obliterate anybody in the same screen of him.
Yep.
And so for DFM, the Baron power play has another minute on it. You can expect probably this top outer turret to get down. Fnatic working up there. Upset pushing that wave. The rest of the team moving in to get vision control. After this, the game is not over. DFM will have a couple more minutes to scale, but you are on such a dangerous position.
Yeah, we're so far away from that mattering at this point. Gonna have to just contend with the lead that Fnatic have. This game exploded as far as gold advantage goes.
Which is dangerous.
Fnatic might even look for a little dive here. Yaharong doesn't want to be in the wrong spot. Transitioning over to the top side of the map, but Wound is going to keep him pinned here. The inhibitor tower in mid, and Hillsong gonna let the ulti go. Here's the nice slow steady dive. Roots up one, there's the kick onto Unipon. No flash from the last encounter. Picked up by Lee Sin nice and easy as Evie dives in with the ulti. Tries to get up there, but he can't complete the kill. And that is two clean ones under the turret, and half is gonna be the third.
I said that this was probably not the end of the game for DFM, but I did not expect them to risk it all for a top inner turret. Fnatic seeing them standing there, fish in a barrel, get the flank, get the kickback by Razork to start that one off. And with that, they might have the game.
One tiny little Bud Light ace leading to the game here for Fnatic. It was close for a long time, but Fnatic just going to completely take over when it matters. One Baron, take it. All they'll need. Razork absolutely makes the right decision this time. Diving in with the Q, and Yaharong does get two. Just one, it was a clone. I was being tricked, but Yaharong got at least one shutdown. We'll keep him in the game for a little while longer. No flash, I can't really... Hilly, hello?
Hilly, I think, has given his body up, not wanting an extended chase sequence. With the speed up,
I respect it.
With the Victor Q speeds up, you're worried about maybe him finding more than just one kill, so Hilly being the team player. Upset was outie, dude. He was already bot lane pushing again after they could not end the game. This is such a good call by Fnatic. There's no way that you should allow DFM to stand in this position. You have so much control over the map. You can easily get behind them extended in this range, pin them up against the wall, obliterate Utapon, and Yaharong is a little late with that teleport. I mean, it's just gonna happen so explosively. I don't really blame him, but just not able to drop damage there while the rest of his team was alive. They do defend their base just barely, but it's only one Nexus turret still alive. Top inhibitor gone. Whew, DFM are in trouble, and Fnatic are looking good.
Yeah. Check out this goal graph real quick. That is quite the mountain range that Fnatic have built. Wunder caught in the side lane. Good little pick there, trying to buy some time. Get a little bit of gold back for themselves. Keep it just under 10,000.
Yeah, a bit of a oopsie there. Not the end of the world. No neutral objectives available. Bit greedy for farm there. The rest of the team was not really in a position to allow him to be up that far. You can see Razork and Hilly still on their side of the map while Wunder was pushed out in the bot lane. Bit of a mistake there, but still absolutely fine for Fnatic.
Yeah, there's the Banshees, by the way. Humanoid did end up getting it. Just, you know, took a little death cap detour, which is a nice one there.
I'm sure after the ace in the top lane, he's sitting on like 2,500 gold, and he had a Negatron cloak already, and he's like, do I want to just finish my death cap? Or not Negatron cloak, excuse me.
No, Magic Man.
Yeah, and the needlessly large rod. You're like weighing which of those completed items will make me feel better. I think everyone's selecting death cap.
Correct. Pretty good item. If you can pick it up, Humanoid, another stellar game here. As also upset with 4 items. Has that one death, but that's been it. Been pretty flawless apart from that. Fnatic using Hillsong's ulti really nicely as well to set up a lot of these dives. Like, yes, you could argue Detonation Focus Me just shouldn't be there in that position anyway, but Hilly's had a lot of good setups, and that creates a nice big zone of control for Kaiser to do things like that. Upset barely going to miss that kill onto Steel.
Yeah, Steel just not having enough MR right now to sustain any of this burst by the LeBlanc. Went the plated steel caps, understandable with 3-ish physical damage threats between the Lee Sin, Aatrox, and Kai'Sa, but when the enemy team has a 7-0 LeBlanc, you better get yourself some damn MR.
Certainly so, and Steel once again is going to be put under the ire of Humanoid's LeBlanc. Heavy going to try and maybe make one last stand. No flash, but ulti and Proto Belt up. The Fnatic not going to make the mistake this time. We'll just slowly, steadily take this dragon. Looks like Upset's going to go ahead and solo that. And Detonation Focus Me are preoccupied with the minions anyway. So Fnatic, no need to rush things. They are so far ahead right now.
Yeah, it's just the unfortunate position for Fnatic with the attempt to end the game around that top side not working out and not being able to stack dragons earlier like we were talking about. There's no need for DFM to leave their base unless it's, for something like this, trying to get some vision control out while they're on the dragon. But realistically, the Baron is what they're going to have to contest. The dragon goes away scot-free. Now it's on soul point for Fnatic should something not end the game in the next 5 minutes. But realistically, Fnatic, with this Baron, should be able to close the game out very soon.
Detonation Focus Me, I just don't think can even get in here. Steel does have flash. Doesn't have vision. Razork, they're going to kick him out of the way. Going to take some damage as well. Just get in there. No, they can't find it. And now the damage has been done. Unicorn tunnels the ultimate. Hillsong buying so much space. Yahrong almost dead, but he is going to get out safely. But I don't think the rest of the team can. Upset finds the snipe with the Kai'Sa W, and now going to move on in. Harp going to shut that down, but Gilly takes out Evie. Harp going to be slain by the rest as Upset finds a double, make it 3 as Steel's dead, and Unicorn once again going to be lined up for the ace. It could be a quadra, it can't be a penta, but Upset's going to take it as Wunder finds the ace again.
Humanoid already on the Nexus turrets. He's had enough of this game. 7-0-6. Definitely had an incredible performance for himself. Pressure throughout the entire game. He is looking terrifying in Worlds so far. Absolutely crushing everyone he has been laned up against.
Humanoid indeed. On form early for Fnatic here in play-ins. 3-0 now with only, actually, wait, how many teams in the group? You know what? This slide 6. Couple games to go.
Through, a little more than halfway through. We'll have to see if they can go undefeated in Group A. Looking very good with a lot of their toughest competition out of the way. It's just Beyond Gaming left, really, for them to try and probably take a crack at. Loud, looking better than I think some people were expecting. That'll also be a tough test for them. DFM sitting at 0-2, but looking much better today this time around. A lot of it was, I think, Fnatic mistakes, just being a little maybe sloppy on their rotations, taking some trades, not 100% comfortable with all the matchups with Maokai support, maybe quite yet.
Yep.
But either way, DFM was able to punish when Fnatic made those mistakes, and we'll see if they can continue to scale up throughout the group stage, whereas Fnatic is already on point.
Got to adjust with the new guy in the lineup, Hilly's back in, he's back on form, first blooded, and then the game seems fine.
Yeah, it's comfort zone right there.
Exactly.
It was very good showing for them. It was also a draft that was very much about trying to style on your opponents. And I think maybe, there was a couple more skill checks that they thought they could just make against their opponent. You saw the initial kill by Evie on Wunder, for example, where he was just greeting, trying to shove his wave under turret, whatnot. Those are things that I think